Hi there, I'm Ryan with the Center for Urban Farming here in Trondheim, Norway. And today we're going to talk about starting small plants, starting seedlings at home. It's April 30th. It's starting to feel like springtime here, finally. I think maybe next week we'll be out in the garden preparing beds, getting ready to plant. But it's a good time indoors to be starting seedlings, small plants, små planter in norsk. It's a good time right now to be doing this work. So today we're going to teach you all about how to do that and do that well. This is a crucial stage in the life of your vegetable plants, the very beginning. And there's a lot of good reasons to start plants inside and then set them outside when the climate and conditions are perfect for them outside. This can give us a little bit of jump on the season. It can also give plants a little bit of a chance to get strong before they have to deal with wind and pests and diseases and things like that. So this is a really important process that I'm going to try to teach today. But first, I really need to teach something that is just an essential concept in growing vegetables, especially your summer vegetable garden. And this is a concept, that's an English word I have here for you. It's vigor. Vigor translates into Norwegian as something like kraft. Basically what vigor means is with speed and with force. And it's a really, really important thing to try to facilitate vigor at every step of your vegetable garden's life, at every stage, and especially at the beginning. So vegetables, I like to compare vegetable plants to elite athletes. They're actually quite particular in their needs. They're some of the more challenging things to grow vegetables. They are like elite athletes, but they're like sprinters. They're adapted to run a very short race and to do it very quickly, and that's how they like to live. That's an ecological niche that many annual plants, like most of our vegetables, have found to fill. So, no more important point to get them off to a strong start at the beginning of the race. And so I'm going to try to teach you guys how to do that here, starting from seed and growing them into something that's ready for the garden. Okay, so let's jump right in here into this process. The first thing we'll start with are the containers that you're going to use to start your seeds in. So there's a lot of options out there. I'm going to try to quickly discuss some of them. You may see like some recycled ones. You can use milk cartons, things like that, poke some holes in them. An old creme fraiche container, that's fine. I use this plugbrett system here. And you see the nice thing about plugbrett is they're kind of tapered here, made out of plastic. So when it does come time to transplant these broccolis to the garden, they come out really nice and easy, nice and smooth. So I don't have to disrupt the root system very much when I transplant them. And again, this is to help encourage continuous, vigorous growth in the seedling. We're always thinking about that at every step that we do, anytime we're playing with them. So these could work quite well. This is something that you might buy some bedding flowers or something from the grocery store, and you end up with one of these. Save these because they're great. They're a little bit bigger than the cells, or a little bit bigger than these, and that's okay. And then you can get into, like I said, some of the recycled options that you might find, or larger things. The drawback with larger containers is that for a lot of us, we only have so much space to start small plants, like maybe just a sunny window is all we have. So space is kind of at a premium. And I find that this size, this is about, it's a little bit more than 4 centimeters by 4 centimeters. It's it's over 6 centimeters deep. So I get a nice amount of soil in each one of these cells, which is important because for the first few weeks of their life, they get everything they need from the soil. Water and näring, the nutrient, comes from this mix here. So you want to make sure you have a nice volume of that. I see some people use these like egg cartons, old recycled egg cartons. It's kind of a nice idea. I think the drawbacks for me on this is that this is only, it's quite shallow. It's less than 4 centimeters deep. So you're not getting quite as much soil in there. The other big drawback with these, you'll notice the difference here, is that this one doesn't have holes in the bottom. Now you could poke some holes in the bottom, okay, that's the one start, but moving on. The most important thing, or one of the most important things, is that you have holes in the bottom of these. And this has to do with drainage, with water. We're gonna be watering our seedlings, of course, moving through the soil mix, and being able to exit, right? These are not water plants. They are terrestrial plants. They need the perfect blend of water and oxygen in that root zone if they're going to grow with vigor, right? So the ability of the container to get water away is really important. So no matter what you do, if you're going to use recycled containers, poke big holes in the bottom so you can move through there. All right, the next thing is going to be our soil mix here, okay? And this soil mix is, it's a combination of turf and perlite, and I'll talk about those things. This is a ecological turf. We sell this here at the Center for Urban Farming for 200 kroners for an 80-liter bag. That's quite a large bag. It will last you for a couple seasons, or you can share it with someone else. And this is a really nice product. It's really convenient. So if you're interested in that, please contact us. Our website, or my email is urbandyrking. That's urban growing, but in Norwegian it's urbandyrking. I'm sorry about my accent. At gmail.com. Okay, so get in touch with us there. Or check out our website on volgor.com. So, okay, the seedling mix is nice. And one of the important qualities of a seedling mix, there's many different kinds of mixes that you can find or you can make your own, but there's some important qualities that any good seedling mix will have. One is the ability to hold water, right? Seedlings, seeds, they need water. So it's got to be able to hold some water next to the seed. And then the other one is that it actually holds oxygen, and so water will drain away. So a lot of garden soil, or like a lot of garden soil has like lera in it, a lot of clay in it, holds too much water, doesn't really drain that well. So that's why I always use a product for starting seeds that has a little bit of turf, or you can use cocoa peat, and usually has some kind of what we call like an aggregate particle, like this is perlite, but there's vermiculite or sometimes sand to help make things drain. When you're thinking about the amount of moisture, the amount of water, the vann, that you want in your seedlings at all times, I want you to imagine that you've been washing dishes. I'm sorry, you've been washing some dishes. And then you're done with the dishes, and it's always a good practice. I always do this. I wring out my sponge. I squeeze all the extra water out of it, but it's still gonna be a little wet, right? That's the moisture level that you're going for. And the nice thing about something like turf is that it's like a sponge. It holds the perfect amount of water and air. So it's a really kind of like turnkey medium to be using. You can water it nice and deeply, and you can walk away, and you know that like a day later, even 2 or 3 days later, it's probably gonna still have the perfect amount of moisture, and that's really nice. So I like this product here, this EcoTorv. And now we're going to show you about filling up these trays, right? So let's say we'll start with this one here. I planted out my violets and now we have this extra tray. I want to start some bloom call today. So what I do is I go ahead and just get some nice overfilling going on here. Just flood this thing with soil. Cover it up. It should be out in front, on top of it, overflowing. Lots and lots of this stuff here. Okay, and then we can start just pushing it in side to side, just like this. Put some more on, push it down, get a lot of it in there. One of the great qualities of turf is that it's actually really almost impossible to over compress it, to make it too compact. It's like this rebounding sponge. So get a lot in there, just push it down. You don't have to like hammer it in there like that, but just use your hand and press it back and forth. Especially get the edges. We always tend to not pay attention to the edges, especially when we're watering. I didn't do that like that. Okay, so that's pretty good right there. Nice and full. We got a lot of soil in there. It's a lot of nutrient netting, a lot of water holding capacity for our young seedlings. Okay, now onto the seeds. This is an important part right here. All right, so we're going to start this bloom call here today. It's a good time to do that. Yeah, just a little bit on timing, on when we want to plant things. I think that's an important component as well. The reason why I like these small cells is because I never plan to keep vegetable starts in a container for really more than 6 weeks. Okay, there are some, like tomatoes and onions and celery, some really kind of strange outliers that can benefit from being in cells for weeks or even months. But most of the things that we start and grow, most of our vegetables, I think they should only be in plugs or trays for 5 or 6 weeks at the most. After that, I really think the best thing for them is to get them out in the garden where they have lots of space. Hopefully, they have good nutrient in the soil and they're going to be able to continue with that vigorous growth, that really strong, powerful growth when the sun and the warmth comes to Trondheim one day.